have to look for it. You have to go out of your way to find it. In addition, the information that we have heard today is not normally presented in this capacity. Why? Information is presented to us and understood by us according to our dominant hegemonic ideology. And for those of you who have me in class, you know what this is. For those of you who don't, let's start backwards. What is an ideology? Taylor. It's, sorry, an idea? Great. An ideology is an idea, but it's more than an idea. A dominant ideology is a framework. It's a lens. It's a perspective through which we view our social world, through which we come to understand things. Having said that, how many people in this room have an ideology? Good. Look to your neighbor. Is your ideology different or the same as your neighbor's? What do you think? Good. Okay. Most of us have a different or unique ideological perspective. We come to understand the world through our own lens. Why? We're each influenced differently by our family, our education, our religious background, politics, media. However, we have something in Canada called a dominant hegemonic ideology. And that means that most people in our society come to understand, come to view the world from this perspective. Our dominant ideology is called liberal democracy, liberal individualism. And it means that we come to be taught to believe that we live in a free, equal, democratic, and meritocratic society. What is meritocracy?
You get judged by your merits.
Very good. Okay, so if we live in a meritocracy, we come to believe that as long as you try hard enough, you can succeed at anything, and that your merits are what counts. Where do we learn these lessons? School. Our teachers teach us. When Johnny doesn't do well in his math homework, what do we tell Johnny? Work harder, Johnny. Try harder. Maybe next time, if you give it a little bit better effort, you can succeed. Where else do we learn?
Churches.
Good.
Friends and family.
Perfect. Okay? Our parents teach us this. Why? Because they too understand the world from this dominant hegemonic perspective. It's all around us. The newspapers reinforce it. And we come to understand the world from this perspective. The impact of this perspective is huge. If people have an equal chance to succeed, so long as they try hard enough, what does that mean for those people who don't succeed? What does that mean for those people who live in conditions of poverty? It means it's their own fault. If we understand the world from this perspective, then those people who are not succeeding, those people who are living in conditions of poverty, have only themselves to blame. What's dangerous about this perspective? We develop a lack of sympathy. What else do we develop a lack of? Very good. Okay, is this anti-citizenship? Absolutely. Tell me how. What is the connection?
They're also a member of your society, but you're not helping them because they're not like you.
Great. We come to believe that those people who are down and out, those people who don't have wealth, those people who are living in the midst of inequality have no one else to blame but themselves. By doing this, we take away any responsibility that we might feel for our fellow human citizens, for our sense of community. We aren't active citizens of our world because citizenship is something that's not promoted in Canadian society. In fact, citizenship and the dominant hegemonic ideology of liberal democracy are an oxymoron. They're opposites. What's another example of an oxymoron? Someone tell me. Good. Thank you, Zach. Jumbo shrimp is an example of an oxymoron. They're two things that can't go together. Okay? We talk about citizenship. We talk about an awareness. We talk about having compassion for our fellow members of our community. So long as we continue to understand the world from this dominant perspective, it's almost impossible to have citizenship. Why? We come to blame those people who are not succeeding as their own fault. Okay? And why do we do this? What purpose does it serve? Absolutely. It makes us feel more comfortable about ourselves. So why do we buy into the dominant ideology? Why do we want to believe it's true? Two reasons. One, if I am rich and I drive my big fancy SUV with my boat behind to the cottage on the lake on the weekend, and I happen to see someone who's homeless on the street as I'm driving by, what do I want to feel about that homeless person? Not my fault. You wanted to be rich like me, you wanted to have a boat, you got a job at Burger King, you better get one at McDonald's too. Okay, so what happens if you're on the bottom of the stratification